Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of She Means Well.
Hi fam.
How you doing?
Doing good. It's been a really good morning. It looks like death outside though, you guys.
I know, but I hate to be this girl. I said this to Jordan the other day and I'm like, kind of cozy. And he's like, Baylie, 2 months from now, I'm depressed. I need to see the sun.
I mean, it's true. I've been saying I love the rain. Don't get me wrong. I do. It's just the constant clouds for so long. Raspy girly.
I know.
Constant clouds for so long that really gets to me.
And
but I'm embracing.
It's like the gray.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even the rain necessarily. Like if it's going to be gray, just rain.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right?
Yeah. It's just the
First
gray.
said that. I was like, I mean that.
Yeah. I will say it's really hard like driving to work and it's dark.
Oof.
And then it's really hard in the winter driving home when it's dark.
Oof.
Yeah. I don't care if it's going to be cloudy and rainy during the week. On the weekend, like right now, we're in August. Give me sunshine.
I know.
Please.
Jordan filmed the wedding yesterday and then he has another one tomorrow. And I was just telling you off mic, like, you plan your wedding for the end of August, you're like, surefire. It's 75 until October nowadays.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll be safe then.
Yeah.
That stinks.
Bummer.
Yeah. It is weird, dude. It's August.
I know.
I think because I'm leaving for Uganda, I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like, I'm going to be in sunshine. I don't really care. But like, we're in August in Washington. It should be really nice.
I know. It kind of makes me feel like summer's over. Like, I was looking at Target the other day and then there was like swimsuits on clearance. And I was like, no, I don't need anything.
Yeah.
You know? And like a month ago, I'm like, oh, that's cute. I might have a moment to wear that.
Yeah. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we get a really cold winter.
I know. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Weather corner.
I know.
Okay.
You did it.
What?
You did it, sister. The ADHD.
Oh.
The book.
Well.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I did take some notes.
Okay.
And I did get through the book.
That's a good start. Oh, you got through the book.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's 10 minutes left.
Round of applause, please, for Baylie Powers.
Finished something. Yeah, my notes are color-coded.
Cute.
Okay, so there's a couple avenues I want to go down. And so first and foremost, yes, I read this book called Change Your Brain, Change Your Life by Dr. Daniel Amen. I highly recommend, even if you were to get the book, I got the audio book and I wanted to listen to the whole thing, but I think I would recommend to get the physical copy because you could flip through, because there's chapters going over all different parts of your brain and different diagnoses that live in different parts of your brain, like ADHD, bipolar disorder, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia. And so I think it would be a really good resource if you find yourself falling in line with any of those to specifically be able to find that resource.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited to talk about this. This is something that needs to be talked about in our society. We go so quickly to medicine.
Yeah.
Big pharma, hello.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited for this.
Yeah. And what's cool too is Dr. Daniel Amen, he's not anti-medication, but he's like, let's try some natural resources first.
And I love that approach.
And I think that's how all doctors should be.
I agree.
And he's like, it's foolish for people to walk into a doctor's office, have a 10-minute consultation and walk out with a prescription. You don't know their history. You don't know their trauma. You don't know what their daily life looks like, their diet. It needs to be a holistic approach.
And don't get me wrong, medication is needed for certain disorders. 100%. And I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
But taking that first approach, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go through and give there's certain examples from this book that really, it's just like fascinating about the brain. Because to be totally honest, loved the book, but it's a lot of clinical talk and it's like
dry.
The basal ganglia and the frontal lobe and whatever.
Yes.
So let's see. Thank you.
Yeah, that takes some perseverance.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And he narrates it, so it's not like a snooze fest. Sorry, Dr. Daniel. It's good. Okay, so to go back to the beginning in Dr. Daniel Amen's studies,
Can we
He,
call him Dr. Dan?
Dr. Dan, he was a medic, and I think it was in the army. And he was like, turns out I don't like getting shot at. So he got into imaging. And so it's like x-rays and stuff. So it's like,
Diagnostic.
yeah, if you have a
Mhm.
broken arm, you look at the x-ray, you know how to heal the broken arm. And then he got into psychiatry, and he thought like, well, if we know that through an x-ray, there's a broken bone and we see the broken arm, we know how to heal it. But with the brain, psychiatry, we're just doing talk therapy. So how do we know what's going on in the brain? And so he uses what's called SPECT scans, and it is imagery of your brain. And I don't know the specifics of how they actually connect you and how long it takes, but basically they're able to see, I think, through having you do different things like in a resting state, in an active thinking state, how your brain lights up or doesn't.
The different parts of your brain lighting
Right.
up. Okay.
And through his research, he's now done over 200,000, I think, brain scans in 111 different countries. And Seattle has a clinic. So I think it's super interesting. And I actually, one of my
we
coworkers,
should go together.
her husband did it. I think it's like $5,000 to get your brain scanned.
We can do that a different time. Scratch that. Put it on the bucket list.
Paid partnership. That's hilarious. Okay, so, but through all of this research and all these scans, they've been able to see all these patterns that pop up. And they actually have found that there's 7 different kinds of ADHD or ADD, 7 types of anxiety and depression, 6 types of addicts, and 5 types of overeaters.
Whoa.
So there's all different things. And it's like you could think of 5 people off the top of your head that fall into multiple or one of those categories that, like, even diet. It's like, why does someone struggle with overeating? And to know there's 5 types of overeaters,
Right.
because you're stressed, because you're anxious. And then it's like, if you have multiple of these things going on, which I just found that really interesting. And one example that this story is so crazy. So when he got first going in this, changing the way in his industry as a psychiatrist, he said he had a lot of pushback from colleagues that are like, you're changing it. We've always done talk therapy. You're making things up.
But let's dive deeper.
Right.
Always. And I feel like as a doctor too, that's what you do. You're a scientist. You study things. You go deeper. You're constantly learning new things.
Asking
So
questions.
that's weird.
But I mean, anytime that there's someone challenging your beliefs, I think that there's
always going to be pushback.
There's always going to be pushback.
Yeah.
And I think questions are good. Like, I even think like, and what we believe, even as a Christian, it's like questions are good. You should ask questions and you should go find the right truth and not just like settle for what someone spoon feeds you. So I do think that questions are good. So anyway, so he's like, I was getting pushed back from the community of my colleagues, and I was listening to him on the Girls Gone Bible podcast, and he was sharing this, and he said, you know, in your spirit, when you know something's right and you're supposed to pursue it, and from the Holy Spirit, and you know that, like, I know that I'm getting this pushback, but I don't care. We're moving forward. I don't care if I look crazy. Like, I know in my spirit this is right. So he said he felt that, but he was still like, still new science and new studies. So he got a call from his sister-in-law one day, and she has an 8 or 9-year-old son, and it was Dr. Dan's godson. And she said, Dr. Dan, brother, he's different. I don't know what's going on. My son is angry. He's getting in trouble at school.
You may have already said this. How old is this boy?
I think he's 8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah. Abigail just reprimanded me for my cord, my umbilical cord showing.
She looked like she's wrapped up in a bear net. I don't know. There's cords everywhere.
Okay. Dr. Daniel Amen one day gets this call. Dr. Dan, my bad. He gets this call from his sister-in-law, and she said, I need your help. Our son is angry. He's different, and he's 9 years old. And he recently got in trouble at school because he attacked a little girl on the baseball field. Attacked. And she found some drawings in his room. One of them, he was hanging from a tree. And the other drawing, he was shooting other children.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So she's like, I don't know what's going on. There's something different about our son. You know him. You know this. And he said, this was such an interesting case because it's not just this family saying like, oh, our son's different. He's like, I know how they parent. I know this family. I know their
Ins and
son.
outs, the way he behaves.
Right. And this doesn't align. And so he said, I need to scan this kid's brain. And again, he was saying this was at a time in his career where he's like, I felt this like, I know that this is right, but I'm getting pushback. And this is the case that pushed him over the edge of like, I know this is right.
The breakthrough.
Yeah. And like, I don't care if I get pushed back. I know what I'm doing is right. And so we're trudging forward and we are like paving a new way to approach our brain. So they drive, and I think it took like 8 hours to get there. He said, I want you in my office first thing tomorrow morning. He sits him down and he's like, buddy, what's going on? And the kid, she said, he doesn't smile. He's not happy. He's like, are you being bullied? No. Has there been an adult that's been appropriate? No. Are you like, what are these things? No. Can't get anything. So then they scan his brain. And he found that he was basically missing his temporal lobe.
Non-existent.
So an unbalanced temporal lobe is going to be responsible for emotional instability.
Okay, that's unbalanced, but missing?
Right. So he has no way to control his emotions.
Wow.
And so he does this.
I really got to get in for that brain scan.
I know. So he does this scan and there's a cyst pushing so far on his temporal lobe, it's basically non-existent.
Oh. So he
And
was born with it.
I think it developed over time.
Okay.
Yeah. It grew
No,
over
his
time.
temporal lobe was there.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
why they had seen these significant changes because he used to be a happy kid.
Okay.
So Dr. Dan obviously isn't a neurosurgeon or anything. So he calls around and he's like, this cyst needs to be drained in his brain. And it took 3 doctors before someone said yes. And these other 3 doctors are like, no, medicate this kid. That is not an issue. That is not the same. And so that's where this pushback was coming from. So he finally found a pediatrician that will do this or whatever. And the kid wakes up from surgery smiling, happy. Hi, Mom. Hi, Uncle Dan. Like happy.
Wow.
Instantaneously. And so Dr. Dan says 99 out of 100 doctors would have medicated that kid.
Right.
And if we think about like what a problem school shootings are and he was like, this kid is like, if you were to like fast forward this, he could be responsible for like, I mean, look at these drawings and you hear about students that do things like that in their childhood and they have this trauma, which this kid didn't have trauma, but there was something physically happening in his brain that was changing his brain chemistry. And then he was capable of this anger.
Right.
And he's drawing these images that's like,
not him.
no. And so he's like 9 out of 100 doctors would have medicated this kid. He just needed to have the cyst removed.
Wow.
So anyway, so that's just like one small story that I think is so interesting.
I wish so badly that these brain scans were more accessible to the public.
I know.
And I know that imaging is very expensive, whether that's an MRI, ultrasound, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like just the public needs this.
Yeah.
They need to have access to this.
Yeah. And something that's also interesting that he talks about is when you experience trauma to your brain, whether it be football when you're little, concussions of any kind, fall off your bike, it can be the start of depression. And the one example, he said, like Abraham Lincoln struggled with depression and he was kicked in the head by a horse and it was never explored, like obviously back then.
Right. With their hay and whatever.
Science.
Yeah. The science that they had.
But yeah, and a lot of people forget that they've had significant head traumas and it can be the start of the end. Yeah. So anyway, I think it's so interesting. And so in this book, he'll say like with like he had a couple that came in and he said, you can tell a lot about a couple that's coming in for counseling. And I have 2 couches and sometimes they'll sit close together on the couch. And this particular couple she sat on one end of one couch and he sat on the other end of another couch.
Kind of like you and I.
Yeah. And so
I'm inching closer though. Can you tell?
Yeah, you are. Oh my gosh, you are.
Hello, sister.
So he, anyway, goes on to meet with them and discovers that one of them had undiagnosed ADHD and one had undiagnosed depression. He ended up finding that the best solution for them was to prescribe medication, small doses for both of them, and continuing talk therapy and all of that in their life and whatever. And over the next couple weeks, they came in, hands on each other's knees, sitting close to each other. Their marriage was saved. And it's like, people don't address the brain. They just address the behaviors and
They put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah. And
this is getting to the root, to the source.
Yeah.
The root cause of what's going on.
Yeah. So I think it's fascinating. And specifically for me, I've been on this journey with ADHD. I wasn't diagnosed until I was in my 20s and living alone for the first time. And I remember walking to the kitchen one day and I'm like, who left all those cupboards open? It was me. And I was like,
Baylie.
yeah. And so I just started and talking about it with you, and you were diagnosed younger than I was, and just like, okay, this is strong in our family. What does this look like? And one time I was doing your sister Haley's hair when she had just gotten pregnant with their son. And she's like, oh yeah, I can't take my medication. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And I had been on the cusp of like, is medication right for me?
And isn't that kind of scary? Like your body's doing the natural thing, creating a human.
Yeah.
And the medication that supposedly is supposed to help you with your ADHD, it's harmful.
You can't be taking it with your, and yeah. I'm not pregnant, not trying to get pregnant.
Same.
But
as someone that takes medication for my ADD, that kind of freaks me out a bit.
Yeah. And I'm a lot more crunchy in most areas of my life with like cleaning and products and whatever.
Definitely more crunchy than me.
Yeah. And so it just got me thinking about all of my questions. And so I now don't take any medication, and I'm not against it. And Dr. Dan says, some people will come to him and say like, oh, but Dr. Dan, the side effects of Adderall or Ritalin. And he'll say, but what about the side effects in your life without taking it? Is your life unmanageable? Are you unorganized? Are you late everywhere? Are you forgetful? Which check the boxes for me. Yeah.
Right.
But I know that there's things I can implement naturally. So anyway, I'm not against it. But there being 7 kinds of ADHD, almost a lot of people who go to the doctor, most doctors, they diagnose with ADHD and they just give them a fat medication and send them on their way. And I used to take Adderall and I felt like I had laser beams coming out of my forehead. And I don't know that it was like the wrong dose or just the wrong actual prescription, but I just felt like high highs, low lows. You could feel when it kicked in, and I would be texting all my friends, oh my gosh, I love you so much. Let's hang out later. Blah, blah, blah. And I'd get off work and I'm like, and they're texting me back, oh, how are you? And I'm like, literally, don't text me. Don't call me. I don't want to talk. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling. It feels like a roller coaster and it doesn't feel right.
Or like genuinely you.
Yeah, because it felt great when it would kick in, but then I'm like,
did you ever, when you were taking the Adderall, when you noticed like you felt like the laser beams, did you ever talk to your doctor about getting a different dosage? Because trial and error with medication is so horrible. I hate that.
Yeah.
I experienced that when I was younger. First, will you answer my question?
Yeah, we did play around with dosage. And actually, it was when I first started taking it. I was taking a extended release in the morning, and I think it was like 15 milligrams, maybe, or 20. And I was like, but halfway through the day, like I didn't describe it as laser beams. I didn't think I was like, man, this stuff's awesome. Like I thought it was great because I'm like, my brain is engaged. I feel like I'm like really efficient at work. Like I'm slapping those base colors on. Yeah. And then I was like, but like halfway through the day, I just feel like a drag, like I still need more gas to get through the day.
You hit a wall.
Yeah. So then she prescribed me instant release, like 10. So then I would take more. And I'm like, that's awesome. But then if I took it
frequently,
I would take the extended in the morning and then another one in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, some days I feel like I need it. Some days I don't, which my doctor didn't talk to me about how important it is to be consistent. Like I would some days not take it. And that's really not good to be on and off and on and off.
I don't know about that because what I've been told from my doctor, because Adderall, and don't fact check me, you guys, but she told me that because I take Adderall.
Yeah.
And I take it Monday through Thursday, my work days. And if I have like something that I really need to be like focused on, I have a lot going on that day. I need to be like super organized and could use the help. I'll take it then. And so the amount of like the pills that I get in the capsule are for that. Like I get Monday through Thursday each month. So for 4 weeks, Monday through Thursday, and then like 2 for each weekend. So she's told me basically you don't have to take this on the weekend if you don't want to.
I have heard,
I know like with depression,
yeah,
don't do that.
yeah. But I have heard it can really mess with you. I don't know if it would be hormonally or just like emotionally.
And that makes sense.
Being on and off.
Yeah.
Because I have a client, we were talking about this. And see, this is what is so hard about healthcare professionals, because you want to find somebody that you feel like is good, but there's such contradicting things. Like I was talking about this with a client and she told me, oh yeah, I told my doctor, like, I don't take it on the weekends. I don't feel like I need it. And her doctor's like, don't do that. It's not good. So it's like, it's such opposing information. And so that's why I am like, wow, this brain thing feels like it aligns because it's so like on par. And I'm like, I don't want anyone but Dr. Dan. Like, I don't know. And that's where I basically have landed as a big fat question mark, because I do identify with where he's like, but what are the side effects of not having it? And it's like, I've been thinking my relationship, like there'll be small things, not taking medication that I'm like, should we do this or that? Or, and I'm so much more vocal about the decisions I'm making. And I'm like, do you want this or that for dinner? Should we this or that? And it's always, and Jordan will be like, babe, make an executive decision. I love you. I trust you. You don't have to ask me. That's fine.
Yeah.
And I remember taking medication and being like, wow, I feel like empowered in my decisions. And I felt like I'm so much more of a verbal processor not on medication. And then on medication, I was just like checking things off the list. And that felt good.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, through this whole research and whatever, and I've just like learn little tips along the way, whether that be from TikTok or whatever.
No.
But like little things like wearing shoes at home, like a hard sole sandal or a hard sole slipper or something hard on your feet is good to like tell your brain, don't sit down, don't scroll. We're not done working. Like that's been helpful for me. Or I'll tell myself a million times a day, don't put it down, put it away. And I think implementing things like that is so helpful, not being on medication or being on medication, that it helps me in my everyday.
Just achievable, or not achievable, but just
like practical
habits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practical little tips and things are what I'm addicted to right now. I'm not saying medication won't be in my future, but until I can get my brain scanned, I am finding a lot of success in these habits and tips.
So go fund me. You can find out. No, just
I know, I want to go. So one of them being cold shower situations. And I talked about that a little bit, I think on a previous episode. So one video that I saw recently, or I guess it was a little while ago, was saying how, well, in this book, Dr. Dan, can you tell I have ADHD?
Dude, a cold plunge
Oh my gosh.
just makes me feel like I was just birthed.
I know.
Like so aware and awake.
I know.
And ready.
So people that struggle with ADD or ADHD, the part of your brain that creates dopamine is sleepy. And so that's why we are so moving from one thing to the next, because we're getting this like spark of dopamine when I open Instagram, and then it's like, oh, if I'm cleaning, I'm going to go in this room. Oh, I'm going to go in that room. And it's like, it's hard to stay focused. And in this video I saw a while ago, it was saying after one beer, it takes 7 minutes for your dopamine to climb and peak, and not only start to plummet, but it goes below the initial baseline of where your dopamine was. And after using cocaine, it takes 9 minutes to peak and then plummet and go below the baseline. But after a cold shower or cold plunge, your dopamine climbs for hours and never plummets below your baseline. It just tapers off.
Wow.
So,
And how do you achieve that? By doing a cold plunge every day? How long?
optimal, I think it's 11 to 13 minutes per week. So you can divvy that up. I do anywhere from 1.5 to 3 minute cold showers, freezing cold every day.
I did it the last week. Yeah.
It's insane.
It was amazing.
And
I feel refreshed.
oh my gosh,
I'm ready to rumble.
I'm addicted.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, listener, I'm the last person, maybe next to my mom, on the face of the earth who wants to be in cold water.
Bailey's the girl that's always like,
And cold. And it's so annoying. Like literally when we went floating in the river, I was wanting to get a long sleeve swimsuit. I was nervous about being cold. I'm like, can I get a wetsuit? I don't want to be in glacier water. I don't want to be cold. I get grumpy and I'm like, it's for everybody. Like, I don't want to be cold. And everyone's like, well, it's so hot. Like the water feels good. I'm like, no, I hate being cold. Until now. And so
she's a cold girly.
yeah, the other day we were at a restaurant and it's like, should we sit inside or outside? I'm like, kind of like the breeze. I sat outside and it was gray like this.
Goosebumps, bring them on.
It's weird. I'm addicted to it. And I think like the ice roller on my face has made me like, okay, this is so good for like the inflammation and puffiness in my face. And
baby steps.
yes, literally. Almost said Bob Ross. What movie? What about Bob?
What about Bob?
So
If you know, you know.
the only way possible for me to make it through the cold shower is through breath work. Enter the Iceman, Wim Hof. The only way through the cold is through this breath work. And I want to do a round of it with you.
Love it.
Actually, maybe two rounds so you can really get the buzz going. But I do want to share a little bit about the benefits, the bennies, if you will. I know I have a little bit of a head cold. Okay. But I do think that this has sped up the recovery. And if not, I'm gaslighting myself that it is. And what was I going to say? Like, spoiler alert, I am like a big placebo girl. Like, I will be like, something changed my life, but I'm into it. Okay. That's a huge spoiler alert, but try it for yourself. Also, the benefits of how much it like boosts your dopamine. I heard someone say like, I dare you to try cold plunging for a week and I dare you to be depressed. I dare you. Like, don't get off your antidepressants just from doing this, but maybe alongside and talk with your doctor. Like, it literally boosts your dopamine so much. I can't say it enough.
I'm here for it.
So, with that being said, at this time, if you don't want to participate, I would fast forward a good 5 minutes. Okay? So, we're going to do the Wim Hof breath work. Sit back, relax, breathe, and enjoy. Outside of the cold shower too. Oh, this is one other thing. So Wim Hof, he has taken to science about this cold plunging, but also the breath work benefits of it. And this man like doesn't get sick. And so they did run a test and they found that through this breath work, you can voluntarily engage your immune system to send out fighters, cells in your immune system that will attack sickness. And so the study that they did, they injected him with a virus. I have it written down here somewhere, but they injected him with a virus and he engaged doing the breath work. This man didn't get sick. And so they're like, and it was clinical. He was set up to things and they were the last person who should be describing this. So then they did a study where they took 12 people, 6 of them did the breath work, 6 of them didn't. All 6 who did the breath work didn't get sick. All 6 people who didn't do the breath work did. Hello.
That is huge.
Yeah. So with that being said, sit back, relax, and breathe with us.
This is a guided breathing session. Relax to the deepest. Lie down, sit down, whatever it takes. Relax. Are you ready? Here we go. Round number 1. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Just go with the flow of the breath. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Into the belly. Into the chest and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in, letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. Ten more. Fully in, let it go. Five more. Let's give it all we got. Last one. Fully in and let go. All right. 1 minute breath hold from now. Be in this. Let the body do what the body is capable of doing. Be aware of your heartbeat. Slow it down. Just be this moment. Let that relaxation spread down to your toes, into your fingertips, to the base of your neck and head. You are almost there. Do you want to prolong your breath hold? Pause the video now and continue when you feel the urge to breathe. Okay. Recovery breath in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in and hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Round number 2. Back into that rhythm. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Into the belly. Into the chest and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in, letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. In with peace, out with stress. Ten more. Fully in, let it go. Nice, deep, circular breaths. Five more. Let's give it all we got. Last one. Fully in. And on the exhale, stop. 1.5 minute breath hold from now on. Feel. Become aware of your body. If your hands and feet are tingling, or you feel your body temperature is changing, That's okay. You're doing fantastic. If you need to breathe before I give the cue, that's okay. You are almost there. Do you want to prolong your breath hold? Pause the video now and continue when you feel the urge to breathe. When you're ready, fully in and hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Round number 3. Back into that rhythm. 3.
Welcome back to Earth.
Wow.
Well, how do you
How do
feel?
you feel? I feel really, my head feels really light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
My body and my temperature did change when he said
Cooler?
warmer,
Oh.
I think.
like my
Like
hands
my hands
feel
feel cold. No, I felt warmer. My face was twitching.
Mhm. Do you
Do
feel
you
like
feel
your
like your
lips
lips
tingle?
My lips were tingling. My feet and my hands were tingling.
Yeah.
I felt a twitch in my lip.
And don't you feel calm?
I feel very relaxed. Like I just had 2 glasses of wine.
Yes.
But not heavy.
Yeah. So it's cool because that's the breath work that he did to engage his immune system.
My head still feels really light.
I know. Isn't it crazy?
Did you get lightheaded at all?
Yeah.
Okay, I did
Yeah.
too. I was like, is this a sign I'm...
And it's weird because, well, and really what's happening is you're filling your blood and oxygen in your body with, you're filling your body with oxygen. And we don't, in our normal breathing, get enough oxygen. And if you were to watch a baby breathe, we breathe with our upper chest, and a baby or animals, you see their belly move.
Yeah.
And that's the part of your diaphragm you're supposed to engage when you're breathing. And so when you're taking these deep breaths in and out, you're breathing properly. So you're getting more oxygen in. And after doing this breath work, I'll do, when I get in the shower, the first round I do in my normal, which I don't take boiling hot showers anymore. I'm like, it's better for my skin not to. It'll be warm in the beginning. And then when he says, okay, round 2, that's when I turn it freezing cold and I stay in there for at least 1, if not 2 rounds. But after I get out of the shower, if there's still a round going, I'll be drying off, finishing the 3rd round. I find myself when I'm done, I'm like, wait, I haven't been breathing. Like, you're so filled with oxygen. There's no way not doing that breath work, I could hold my breath for 1.5 minutes. No way.
I know, I was thinking about that a little bit. I'm like, when I was a kid in the pool, like, go underwater, hold your breath. I don't feel like I could
20
last.
seconds, I'm like,
yeah.
And I think I'm like, send me to the Olympics, send me to Mars.
I seriously call me Michael Phelps.
I know. It's crazy.
Wow, Baylie, that was really, really cool.
So to pair those 2 things together, the breath work and the cold therapy, it's a win-win.
Yeah, you're doing a double whammy there, sis.
In my opinion. And I ain't stopping.
Jeez. Dude, thank you so much for sharing all of this very, very good information.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to add that to my routine.
If you search Wim Hof on Spotify, I think it's the first playlist that pops up, and it's a 15-minute video. And
Is he like by a fire with smoke arising and
I don't know. It sounds
there's
like
a man on a drum behind him?
sounds like it. Yeah, he's crazy. He actually, I think, took this. He's always been. He's on Joe Rogan. It's like a really old episode that you can listen to, and he shares that he's always been like drawn to the cold. I think he's from Norway. I could be wrong, but obviously from a different country. And he always been drawn to the cold, but he actually lost his wife to suicide, and they have 4 kids. And he was like, I have to find a way to like show up for my children and to be there. And he was like, being in the cold has made me that. Like, I show up, I'm happy, I'm healthy. Like, this man doesn't get sick. Yeah, it's insane. I want to do that with my mom.
It'd be interesting to see the difference in somebody like doing this breathing exercise who lives like in New York, where the air is not very good, versus somebody that does it like where we're from. I wonder what the difference would be.
Yeah.
Because of the toxins that they're breathing in. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that's basically, oh, and one thing that also I wanted to share a little update about my skin. So the other night I text my mom, Abigail, my sister, my prayer chain, and I was like, you guys, please start praying for me. My skin is taking a downward spiral. I'm starting to see that dyshydrotic eczema pop back up. I'm on the edge of a spiral, and I went home that night and I was like, I need to take a shower. And in the shower, I was like, okay, the hot water is going to aggravate it. I'm going to do a cold one. And I got out and I'm like, you know what? It put things in perspective for me. It was literally as if my mind had shifted. And for me in that moment, I put in the shower my EDDs when it's like hard to, in the freezing cold shower, like I'll put my face in it and kind of close my eyes, but then I'll have my eyes open and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to breathe sometimes. Like, it's definitely easier sitting down doing nothing than sitting in the freezing cold showers. But I start to pray during that time. And so I'm like, God, protect me from disease, protect my body, heal my body. And I just felt this total shift for me getting out of the shower. And I'm like, my body, my immune system, God designed me to be healthy. He will kick this and help me. And it just felt like it brought peace to me, and I'm getting all this oxygen in my body. And I didn't feel like I was going on this spiral where before I broke out in hives everywhere. And I think that was from stress.
And trying to figure out the answer.
Right. And being so stressed about it. And I actually have had breakthrough, you guys. I have figured out, I am like 99.9% sure that my dyshydrotic eczema is caused from my gel nail polish.
Dun, dun, dun. That's so wild.
Yeah, if you have like little itchy white bumps when that pop up in a stressful time, I think stress is a factor, but the gel nail polish, it checks out. The first time that all of this happened, it was about a week before. I was annoyed that I had just done my manicure and I had this health stuff pop up. And intuitively, I think I was like, I'm having weird stuff with my skin. I feel like I need to see my nails, my nail beds. Like, I don't know, couple episodes of Grey's Anatomy, like your nails like tell you stuff about your body. And so no, I didn't notice anything then. And then this time did my gel about a week later, these bumps are popping up and I'm like, what in the world? And so I didn't rip off my gel polish, but then I was researching on TikTok as I do. And all these comments are like, my gel nail polish, my gel nail polish. And don't look it up unless you want to be weirded out. But basically this gel nail polish has an ingredient called henna, and it makes your nail bed separate from your nail bed. So basically the whites of my fingernail are way further down than they normally would be. And I have fugly nails, and I hope I don't get engaged with these fugly nails.
Stop it. You have beautiful hands, and nail polish or no nail polish, that ring is going to look beautiful. So good thing Jordan's good with AI.
You mean AI manicure, baby? But anyway, yeah, so I think that through these things that I'm researching and finding, I am like, it can't hurt to implement it, whether it's for my mental health, my physical health. I am changed. My spiritual health, like.
Yeah. Well, keep us posted.
Yeah,
updated.
I will.
I think you were definitely onto something.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have your doctor's appointment?
No, I never made one.
Okay.
And that's procrastination for you.
All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode. I hope you were feeling relaxed. And if you didn't join us during the breathing exercise during the episode, try it on your own time.
Yeah, seriously. I literally feel like
I'm excited to look back on this episode and see my vibe before the breathing exercise because I feel like there was a shift in my
I'm like melted into the couch fully.
Yeah.
I know, that was fun. So
all right.
love you guys.
Bye.
Adios.
Adios.